Okay, so let's just settle into a nice, comfortable seated position. Now, Phyllis, if you do need to lie down, that's totally okay. You can just do that. Um, just so you know that. One time when I was first learning meditation, it was like I was maybe, well, I mean, it was how many years ago? 35 plus years ago, something. And I had Burmese meditation teachers. We were doing a Vipassana course, and I was not feeling very well. And the teacher just said, I would just lie down. But of course, amongst the Western students, that was seemingly an impossible thing to do. So I sat up, but he did give me permission to lie down. So I take my cue from this precious man who's no longer alive. And I think what he's trying to say is just relax. Just we do what we can. We bring with us what we have this evening, and we just do the best we can. And I'm not suggesting that everybody lies down, because for some of you who are on the East Coast, you might just go to sleep. So feet flat on the floor, about a hip's width apart. Shoulders aligned with the hips, and imagine your spine is a string of pearls of light stretching from the base all the way up through the crown of the head and beyond. And just lengthen your spine. Just relax from the crown of the head all the way down to your toes. And while we're down at our feet, notice whether you move your toes around a bit or not. Some of us have quite active feet, so just notice if you're moving your toes a little bit. And then what happens to the mind when you keep your toes still? Take a nice deep breath. Go to the crown of the head and relax the scalp, the face, the neck and the shoulders and the back and the front body, and then your limbs. And breathe. Be aware of sound in your environment. Try not to follow with the mind. And then also just be aware of what's arising in your mind this evening. It's coming to the close of a week. Some of you might be quite tired. You might be looking forward to the weekend. For some people, it might be a different experience. So also know that however you are showing up this evening, it's totally fine. We're just where we're at. And bring to mind the people of your life, your loved ones, the ones you don't like, and your strangers. And remembering they can change place at any time and they're all equal, believe it or not, in their wish to be happy, their wish to be free from suffering and having this extraordinary capacity for Buddhahood. So maybe there's some people in your life this evening, if not yourselves, that might want to motivate and dedicate this practice for. So keep them in the mind. You can also imagine that they're here with us. Just bring them into the room in your mind. So remembering there is no negativity that cannot be purified. And this purification process is a psychological one. We create negativity with our mind, so we can equally change it by creating positivity instead. So sincerely regret from the depths of your heart anything you have done to harm any living being on this day, in this life, and in all of our past lives. And think of specific actions of both your body and your speech and then in general regret all. And the reason to regret is based on this logic of karma. And we experience everything due to our past karma, our past actions. And so having harmed others, we ourselves will necessarily experience suffering in the future. And we cannot bear the thought of the future suffering that we ourselves will experience. We know from our present suffering we don't want any more. So logically, it makes sense to remove these karmic seeds before they ripen as future suffering for us. So we think like this: I regret from the depths of my heart having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken my vows because I do not want the future suffering. I'm sick of suffering, and also regret any anger, attachment, and the rest that are the cause of why we harm others. And then think again, I'm sick of this suffering. And then think, what can I do about it? Whom can I turn to? So here we come to the Buddha, Vajrasattva, who we see as a doctor, who has the methods that we can use to purify. So here he is, our beautiful Vajrasattva. So just imagine you have this Buddha above the crown of your head, made of brilliant, radiant white light. And we're not asking for this higher power or God to come and fix things. We are doing the work ourselves. So as we discussed in the Buddhism in a nutshell, this Four Noble Truths, we just kind of think of it as something that we have to learn in Buddhism, but actually no, we can apply it to our daily life. We have a problem that's causing us suffering. We figure out what's causing that problem. We find a solution, and then we continue moving on the path so we can maintain our health or our whatever. So here we have an understanding that we have delusions, and Vajrasattva, the cause of that is our karma, our mental afflictions. Vajrasattva is a doctor who is giving us methods that we can use to purify ourselves, to heal ourselves, and then to continue that healing process, to purify completely so we can become enlightened for the sake of all sentient beings. Buddhism is actually really, really simple and very practical and very down to earth. And Buddha himself didn't start out trying to make a religion. He just wanted to find out what was what. He wanted to find out what things really were all about. So back to our practice. So we have Vajrasattva above the crown of your head. You can also imagine this is your teacher manifesting in this form for your benefit. So you remember he's sitting cross-legged. He has his arms crossed at his heart, the left underneath the right. The left is holding a bell. This represents wisdom. And the right is holding a vajra. This represents indestructibility of compassion. And when they're crossed, it represents enlightenment, the development of infinite wisdom and infinite compassion. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. So in order to develop compassion, we need to rely upon other beings, the very beings we've harmed, and those who have harmed us, by developing compassion for them. So think particularly of someone you may have harmed recently and in the past, and then in general, all beings you have ever harmed since beginningless time. And remember those who have harmed you and have compassion for them, particularly because they're going to suffer as a result of the harm they've done. So strongly aspire to do this practice for all these beings. So now we have the remedy. And so this is the medicine, doing the practice of purification. And we start with the body, and Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful white nectar, like coming out of a hose, quite forcefully from his heart. And it arcs around and enters your crown and pours into your entire body, filling you completely. And it keeps pouring into you until it forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you've ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid. And this pours out of you and disappears into space, Not one atom left as you recite the mantra. Om Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutukaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hompe Om Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutukaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta meboa sawasiti mimpiyata sawa kama sitame sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ha ho bhagawan sawa tatagata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva ahumpe vajrasapa samaya manupalaya vajrasapa dina patita dita meboa sutukaya meboa sipokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawasiti mimpiyata sawa kama sitame sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ha ho bhagawan Sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva ahompe. Vajrasapa samaya manupalaya vajrasapa dina patita. Dida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa. Anarakta meboa sawasiti mimpiyata sawa kama sitame. Sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ho bhagawan. Sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva ahompe. Vajrasapa samaya manupalaya vajrasapa dina patita dida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawasiti mimpiyata sawa kama sitame sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawa tatagata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva hum te. So be delighted that all the harm you've ever done to any sentient being with your body is now completely purified, and think there's no way you could do anything but benefit others now with your body. And next is the purification of our speech, and Vajrasattva very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and forcefully enters your crown and fills your entire body, except this time forcing up to the top of your body all the negativity of your speech, which overflows and disappears into space, not one atom left. So just imagine all the gossip and the harsh speech and the useless speech and lying and talking badly about others behind their backs. All of this is purified by this powerful nectar filling you as you recite the mantra. Om Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagawan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva ahompe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta meboa sawasiti mimpiyata sawa kama sitame sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawa tatagata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva ahompe vajrasapa samaya manupalaya vajrasapa dina patita dida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawasiti mimpiyata sawa kama sitame sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagawan Sawa tatagata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva ahompe vajrasapa samaya manupalaya vajrasapa dina patita dida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawasiti mimpiyata sawa kama sitame sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawa tatagata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva ahompe Vajrasapa samaya manupalaya vajrasapa dina patita dida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawasiti mimpiyata sawa kama sitame sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawa tatagata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva ahompe vajrasapa samaya manupalaya vajrasapa dina patita dida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasiti mimpiyata sawa kama sitame sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawa tatagata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva ahompe vajrasapa samaya manupalaya vajrasapa dina patita dida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawasiti mimpiyata sawa kama sitame Sitam Shriam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Hum Pe. So again, feel so happy that your speech is now completely purified, and imagine it's not possible to do anything but benefit others now with your speech. And this includes what you write, what you put out on social media, by email, by text. And next is the purification of the mind. And Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful beams of light from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire being. So again, the same as you walk into a room that's dark, you turn on the light instantly dispels the darkness. So same here, the light from Vajrasattva's heart hits your heart chakra, and all the darkness of the negativity of your mind, all the attachment and neediness and anger and depression and resentment, anxiety, jealousy, grudges, all instantly dispelled, not one atom left. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriam Karuhum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Hompe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriam Karuhum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Hompe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriam Karuhum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Hompe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriam Karuhum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Hompe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriam Karuhum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Hompe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriam Karuhum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Hompe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriam Karuhum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Hum Pe. So be delighted that all your delusions, which are the source of all of our own suffering and the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech, are completely purified. They're finished. And now imagine there's no space in your heart for anything other than love and kindness and forgiveness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. So next is the purification of even the imprints of negative energy of the body, speech, and mind. So imagine Vajrasattva sending light and nectar, and it fills you completely and just eradicates those subtle imprints of energy. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriam Karuhum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Hompe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta me boa sawa siddhi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajrama me mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe vajrasapa samaya manupalaya vajrasapa dina patita dina me boa siddhokaya me boa sipokaya me boa Anurakta me boa sawa siddhi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan Sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe. Vajrasapa samaya manupalaya vajrasapa dina patita. Dida me boa, siddhokaya me boa, sipokaya me boa, anurakta me boa, sawa siddhi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan. Sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe. Vajrasapa samaya manupalaya vajrasapa dina patita dida me boa siddhokaya me boa sipokaya me boa anurakta me boa sawa siddhi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe vajrasapa samaya manupalaya vajrasapa dina patita dida me boa siddhokaya me boa sipokaya me boa Anurakta me boa sawa siddhi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe vajrasapa samaya manupalaya vajrasapa dina patita dida me boa siddhokaya me boa sipokaya me boa Anurakta me boa sawa siddhi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan Sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe. So now feel you're completely purified. There's not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to your enlightenment have been removed. And now we come to the power of resolve. This is the fourth and final and very crucial step in the purification process. We make a decision to refrain from harming with our body, our speech, and our mind. Or at least we think about it, we try. So rejoice in your efforts, rejoice in your Zoom friends' efforts, our little community here, purification community. Just rejoice in everyone's efforts turning up night after night. And then just think of something you want to work on over the weekend, maybe. Keep it small. Don't make it too something that's going to trigger you too much. Just keep it nice and light. And slowly, humbly, one foot in front of the other, we'll make progress. So imagine Vajrasattva is delighted with us, wants to merge with your mind and melts into light and absorbs into you through your heart, your crown, and think my Guru's body, speech, and mind, Vajrasattva's body, speech, and mind, my own body, speech, and mind are the same. And a little bit on emptiness. In emptiness, there is no I, the creator of negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma. And there is no negative karma created. So at whatever level you understand emptiness, place your mind there for a little while. We can think of all phenomena as being empty. They do not exist from their own side. You can also think that the way things appear to me may not necessarily be the way they actually exist. So let's just dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy you've created doing this purification to all living beings, to all those people of your life, and think, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. And then a strong request for His Holiness the Dalai Lama to live long, and then for the swift return of Lama Zopa Rinpoche, and then of course for your own individual teachers. You know, you're very fortunate there in Santa Fe to have two Geshis teaching you in one place. It's amazing. Quite lucky. Okay, everybody, lots of love. Thank you so much for hosting. If there's like one or two hosts, I'm not sure, but anyway, thank you, Michael. All right, lots of love, everybody. Have a wonderful weekend. Stay safe, and I will see you on Monday.